everybody, welcome back to my channel. Once again, I am drawing something, as you can see on the screen, because you are watching a video right now of a drawing, and I titled it as a drawing. Very normal stuff. Today's drawing was really interesting, so I was just perusing through Pinterest, as one does, and I saw this really cute dress. It was like the green fairy dress that's down in the corner that I referenced quite a lot in this video. And I imagined this scene where Shay and Licia are interacting, and where she uses like the illusion magic on Shay and puts her in a dress, and Shay's like, what the heck? Why would you do this? So I tried to do that, and I didn't quite get the angle I guess I wanted, so I didn't use any references for this. It was just, well, okay, I did use references, but like I didn't use a pose reference. I definitely use pose references as a crutch a lot, and I've been watching a lot of tutorials on drawing, and a big thing that they say is that you need to branch out away from your like relying solely on other people's drawings so that you can improve your art. So anytime I draw a drawing that does not involve a reference, in my opinion, it tends to look worse, which it probably does. So I should probably do it more often so I get better. So some of my practice, I need to practice more just doing like exercises and stuff. And you know, in the end, I didn't really like how this drawing turned out exactly. I didn't like certain things, but I liked other things. Like some things I really did like, and other things I didn't. The one thing I felt like I could not get right was Shay's head and the facial expression, and it was definitely an unflattering angle, which I'm not used to drawing at that angle. I tried using the Lumos heads, the Lumos head square heads to look at, and it didn't work. I ended up taking a picture of my own face, and I'm not going to be showing that one because it was definitely an unflattering angle. Yeah, that one. So I just used that to try and get some semblance of what it would look like, and in the end, I wasn't wholly dissatisfied, but it's a lot less pretty than I'm used to drawing. I'm used to drawing characters from flattering angles, and it always makes them look good. Another thing I really struggled with on this was the folds of the dress. I don't draw a lot of dresses, which I need to draw more, and I don't draw the fluffy, ruffly dresses that I drew today. And that was another reason I wanted to draw the dress, because it was going to be a challenge, and I knew it was going to be a challenge. And at one point, I almost gave up and did the fake stencil ruffles, and then they didn't look like what my reference looked like anyway. So I was like, okay, fine, I will draw the dress instead of stenciling, which would kind of be cheating anyway, so, you know, that's fine. I think the ruffles that I ended up liking the most were the ruffles on the chest. That part, I feel like they looked the best. Now, it all looks good if you zoom out really far to where it's like a 2 by 2 inch. But yeah, the sketch process was pretty difficult for me because I wasn't referencing a pose, and the hands, I don't like those at all. I'm very unsatisfied with how those hands turned out. But, you know, I got what I wanted out of the drawing, which was, you know, practicing the ruffles, practicing the unflattering angle, not using a pose reference. I mean, I kind of referenced, like, obviously character designs and some shading. I didn't really reference shading. I kind of used the Lumos head I was looking at for a little bit of reference on shading, but not really. I didn't do the realistic anime look that I've done the last couple drawings, minus the wedding special one. So it kind of looked a little strange with the shading that I ended up doing, and the whole thing kind of looked a little off, honestly, from how I usually draw. But again, I didn't use a reference, so I guess this is more in line with how I actually draw than when I'm copying other people's stuff. So I may draw more often like this, but it definitely will look very different from how I usually do it because I'm usually copying other people, which is not necessarily the best. Like, I'll use somebody else's pose drawing and, you know, how to draw their anime face, because I love the anime style, but I also am not the best at it, because I can never get the square draws or the triangle draws right. Never, ever. They always look weird. So yeah, and anytime I try to do like the practice on like the Loomis heads or whatever, it ends up looking terrible. Absolutely terrible. I was happy with how the legs turned out. They were literally just a tiny bit of leg. So not much was shown there. And, you know, for the dress itself, it didn't look half bad, honestly. After I finished it up, you know, I didn't quite copy the intricacies of the real dress. But with what I got, you know, it wasn't the worst it could have been. So it was okay. And I really liked how I got the gradient to look on the dress folds. Obviously the real life dress was more white green, like it was like a more see-through type material, I could tell. I don't know what that material is, but the darker the shadows were, the greener it was, and then the lighter it was, like the wider it looked. And then there was just the natural gradient, which I really loved that dress. It's so beautiful, and I'm glad I was able to replicate even a little bit of it. I did make a huge mistake when I started coloring, which is I put everything on the same layer, which, you know, some people tell you to do that all on the same layer and you'll get much better, and yes and no. The way I usually shade is like chaotically, so when I did it that way, it was definitely more chaotic. But the final result wasn't bad, it just took a little bit more effort, so I guess in the end it wasn't terrible. I just gotta be more careful when I'm doing my broad strokes. And I definitely went super light on the shading, which I'm not used to doing, because it was daytime, and a lot of the drawings I draw are not daytime. They're usually, it's like dark and dreary, and you know, I wasn't used to drawing, and I probably need to draw more stuff in the daylight with like daylight shadows. I would like to copy more realistic stuff, and something I want to do is get better at doing realistic drawings. But like the realistic anime style, there's this one style on Pinterest that I've seen, and I hope it's not AI generated, but it's like where you have like, it's a really dark area, and then you have the character who is like doing something, and it's like they're super glowy and shiny, but there's like the dark spots, and I really love like when like the hair is glowing and everything's glowing and everything's like sparkly and there's like magic effects everywhere. I really like that, and I want to replicate it someday, which is why I'm working on learning how to do this stuff. Some of the basics, you know, I gotta get my how to draw skills down first, and then, you know, shading along with that. I feel like I'm getting better for sure, and doing projects like these. This one took me, I think 3 or 4 hours. I can't remember anymore. I finished at 9:30 at night on this one, so that was that. And then I think I started around 5 maybe, but I took breaks. But I was not super unsatisfied. I was satisfied but not satisfied with this one, you know? There were things that I feel like I could have done better, but that was more the line art. I think the biggest thing was the face. I feel like I should have made it more expressive, but I was trying to make it like semi-realistic, but not. And then of course the fairy, Lycia. I don't like how big her butt turned out. It turned out really big. And so I feel like I didn't quite draw that very well. But again, I wasn't really using a reference. It's not terrible. And then the last thing that I wish I had done slightly better was the background, because I don't know what I was going for with that. I was initially going to draw trees, so I took that picture that I used, that I kind of traced over a little bit. And I was going to originally just draw the picture, but then I was like, oh, I'll just use it as a little background. So I started using the little bleeding brush, and it kind of looked like seaweed to me a little bit. But I was like, I should probably add some sky in, because it's kind of at a downwards looking up angle. And yeah, I feel like I kind of botched the angle just slightly, but you know, I think it turned out okay. I'm like moderately happy with this drawing. And so it's not the worst thing that ever happened to humankind. And I figured out the speech bubbles, so that was fun. And then the little magic effects I did at the end, those were for Licia, like, doing the magic. It's supposed to, like, be like, you know, she made it happen instead of Shay making it happen. So I did like how it looked kind of overall, but, you know, there were just minor things that I wanted to fix with this one. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you sitting through my rambling once again. It's really fun sitting in here and recording things while I watch myself draw. What I do is I'll like, you know, get the video ready for the time that it'll take, and then I just talk over it, which is how all voiceovers work, I'm sure, but, you know, I've never watched a tutorial on how to do that, and no script for me. So anyway, as I was saying, thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a great day. Bye!